Good morning from Matagorda. Beautiful day here as always. June, about 29 degrees. Quite breezy, isn't it, Jules?
It is.
The plan today is we're going to do something that I know a lot of readers really enjoy doing, and it's walking from Matagorda towards Playa Honda. And you're going to accompany us on the walk along the promenade here. Then we'll go past the bottom of the runway and the side of the runway. We've got our caps on because it's going to be quite a hard walk, and we're going to time it as well, aren't we? So, sorry, we're going to check the mileage,
We'll give you
kilometrage
some,
on it.
distances.
So the promenade has a very obvious cycle lane in it, so you don't need to worry about getting knocked over by bikes and stuff like that, as long as you stay off the black stuff. And this section's recently been redone, hasn't it?
Which bit?
This part, no?
No.
Oh, was it further back? It was further back.
It's further
You're
back.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's tarmac now, isn't it, instead of cobbles?
Yes, you're
through
right.
Matagorda.
And right in the distance there, we can see the Arrecife Grand Hotel. We're not going that far this time, but we have done that walk a few times, and it's also a really nice cycle to go all the way there. Just get a great view of the runway from here, and that jet to Boeing 737, just lining up ready to take off. Probably see more of those as we walk along the front of the runway in a moment. We've now walked 510 metres, half a kilometre from the point at which we started shooting the video, and those are the landing lights, which obviously are in a perfect line with the runway. So this is a really good area. If you just want to come and watch the aircraft, you literally get to stand underneath them as they come into land.
But if you just go further right there are little benches and bays where you don't even need to walk as far as this, where you can just see the planes coming in.
Yep, that little cutout there, but I don't think you can be actually standing right on the flight path.
No, going right over your head.
Yeah. And where that bicycle is there with a chap sat on it, that is in a direct line with the runway and those landing lights. Right, we better crack on. We've come on only another 100 metres or so, and you start to get a bit of elevation here, so you can see through to the runway and the control tower. And at this point, the promenade bears a sharp left. And you can see one of the issues you get along here, and you can probably hear the wind as well, is that you get this sand blowing across it. So it's fine when you're walking, but if you're on a bike, you want to be careful to avoid the deeper bits of sand, because it's easy to slide or sink in them.
It's also, the bike lane's disappeared, the markings for it, so it is on the left.
Yeah.
And it was two-directional, but it's not clear at all now, is it, for pedestrians or cyclists?
It's true, and actually you can see sand flowing along here now. And here's one of the winter inter-island aircraft, ATR 72. Be able to watch that take off. That'll be going to Gran Canaria or Tenerife. They tend to just turn and go straight off, don't they?
Yeah.
You'll hear the engine note changes, the prop's pitch changes. That was a longer takeoff run than normal, wasn't it?
Must have been heavy.
It's also hot, which doesn't help. It's worth pointing out this beach on the right is beautiful. It's a really, really nice beach, but it is a naturist beach, so don't come down here if you're upset by the sight of naked people. You don't have to take your clothes off, of course, but...
No, and you might see some parading up and down, and you might see just some sat in the zoccos, sheltering out the wind.
We've reached the 1 kilometre mark, so we're almost in line with the control tower in the airport there. We've now got quite a good view of Playa Honda and the Arrecife Grand Hotel there in the distance. Sometimes you'll see a ship moored up on those yellow buoys. I'll just zoom in so that you can see them. I don't know whether you can, but there's yellow buoys out there, and the ship that moors up there is a tanker that carries fuel for the airport, and there's a pipeline that runs underneath this that carries that fuel into tanks at the airport.
We just look, see how far we've walked down from the... just to give the idea of how far 1 kilometre is.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that's about half of it. We've done 1 kilometre in total, yeah.
In total, from Matagorda.
Yeah, and I guess we're about halfway down the runway. That's what it feels like. And you predominantly get the wind in your face walking in this direction for obvious reasons. This is where the aircraft always land, or generally land and take off.
But you don't have it on your back coming in the other direction. So.
Exactly, and if you're on a bike, you'll really appreciate the turn, won't you? Because you can almost come back without
best
pedaling.
riding out into wind while you've got the energy. And then...
Exactly. So it's a really beautiful blue sky today. The sun's got a lot. We were talking about UVA and UVB earlier, weren't we? The sun's got loads of heat in at the moment, I noticed. We were working out in the garden over the weekend, and I managed to burn my head, which I haven't done for a few years. And just how important it is to wear good sun protection here, because the UV is so high. Those first buildings you see there are the military section of the airport. Generally got a couple of helicopters and a drone based there, but when the fast jets come over from mainland Spain to do exercises in the Canaries, they will be based there as well. Now we've got a Ryanair just powering up. And it's away over the hills. Worth pointing out that this section of beach is pet friendly, so you can bring your dogs down here and they can enjoy a swim and playing around on the beach. And there's a little sign here which depicts where it starts, with the arrow pointing to the right. That's the other airline that does inter-island flights, Canary Fly. Just coming in from one of the other islands. This is one of EasyJet's new Airbus A320 Neos. Neo stands for new engine option. Super economical, very quiet. And we're going to wait here until it turns onto the runway and takes off, so we'll catch it on takeoff for you in a moment.
Got one coming in.
Oh, there's another, looks like a Binter coming in at the same time. So this is quite a good spot. We're, what have I got, 1.8 kilometres from where we started, and there's a kind of raised bit. So if I look back, you can see it's uphill there. And we're almost directly in line with the control tower now as well. And then it drops down the other side there. So this section is quite good if you're into aircraft photography or filmography. We've now come 2.5 kilometres. That's taken us about 45 minutes. Although we've been taking our time to stop and take pictures and shoot video and so on. Not quite at the end of the runway, but we have now arrived into Playa Honda.
You can see the red route where the cyclists divert off.
Yep, just explain that for us, Jules.
You can't ride along the front in Playa Honda, so you can get off and push your bike, or you take the red route, which just skirts through the side streets and puts you back onto the promenade on the other side.
And it says there, bicycles are prohibited from the avenue except for children under 14 years of age and people with reduced mobility. And there is a strategically placed police car up ahead of us, which is making sure that that's obeyed. Beautiful beach here in Playa Honda, one of our favourite beaches on the island. We certainly used to come here quite a lot when the kids were young. We haven't been for a few years though. Let's walk along a bit further. Decent view of the beach there. Unfortunately, the town hall are digging up for some sort of piping along the seafront here at the moment, and I was made aware of that by a regular reader who presumably will be watching this in a minute, who was telling me they booked a perfect bungalow right on the front here, and unfortunately they started digging up the promenade. So we've now done 3 kilometres.
Yes,
So
that'll be
it's-
6 by the time we get back.
Yeah, so it's not a bad walk, and you could do it one way and get a taxi back. You can walk up to Dayland and grab a taxi. There's a bus service as well. I don't know about that, to be honest. I don't know the numbers and stuff.
Carry on to Arrecife, that's 10 kilometres if you continue in there.
Yeah, and
There's
20 altogether. Sorry, go on,
Another
Jules.
EasyJet just about to appear, just taking off.
Yeah. It will appear
There you
right
go.
behind where we're heading. Because our next stop is going to be a tapa and a cold beer
It is.
in this little tapas bar here. So I hope you've enjoyed joining us on that walk from Matagorda to Playa Honda. Have a great weekend and bye for now.
Bye.